if I begin to talk about patterns and structures of tribes of people, one of the worst people are Igbos. When I say worst, many of them, you know, Yoruba people, they respect their king. They can lie down. And that's why they have great kings in Yoruba land. You go to Edo State, you see Oba of Benin. You go to the north, you hear about Sultan of Sokoto. But in Igbo land, you don't have any such, no revered king in Igbo land as a whole. No revered king that if you come out to say, hey, this, and it will be that. No, if he says, you will see a billionaire that will challenge him. You know, majority of the Igbo people believe in their money. When the Igbo talk, I say, Keyona, Kego ne Kongwe, Ojego. Are you sure you are hearing me?
Yes, sir.
They are one of the worst people when it comes to honor. Yoruba, they will dobale. Hausa, when they see their king, they will lie down. They see someone greater, they will lie down, Rankadede, and all of that. Igbo. Hold on, you didn't hear the name SUV, Okwote Keneze. You know the meaning of Okwote Keneze? That means the one that stands to greet the king. That means if they go there, they will shake the king. You see people like Obasanjo president, when they go to Oni of Ife. Have you seen the video where Obasanjo prostrated? And Obasanjo is senior to Oni of Ife by age. But Obasanjo knows that you cannot fight an institution. It's not just Oni sitting on that throne, it's deity sitting.
That video you watch is the video of Pastor Chris Okafor. It's a video that has gone viral and has excited a lot of Igbo-phobians or Igbo haters. They are sharing it with glee. But it was a clear indication of the ignorance of the pastor and those who are sharing it with glee. The only reason I'm talking about it here is for education purpose. Okay? If this Pastor Chris Okafor had some historical education, he would have known that when the British came to Nigeria, they established three systems of government, two systems of government. Direct rule and indirect rule. It means that when they came, they discovered that they have kings, monarchical institution in the north. So they applied the system of indirect rule in the north. In the southwest, which is the Yoruba heartland, they established the same indirect rule. It was more successful in the north than in the southwest or in the Yoruba heartland, because what you had in the Yoruba heartland, there was some resistance, but it was partially successful indirect rule, because they have the monarchies that are strong that they can use. But in the southeast or the Igbo heartland, they made an egalitarian society. They made a democracy that could be only compared to what they could find in the ancient Greek, where you have leadership by age grades, by elders, community heads, and all that. There was no centralized leadership except in places like the Onitsha, Obi of Onitsha. Okay, they didn't have that. That was why they now use warrant chiefs and use a system of direct rule, which also brought them a daggers drawn with the people of the southeast, who are much more democratic, who are much more egalitarian than the Yorubas and the Hausas he was talking about. And you can also see that egalitarianism in the Igbos of today in everything. Now, this man was praising, he said he was looking at patterns and structures. What patterns and structures is he looking at? Whatever pattern and structure he was looking at, that Obasanjo used to prostrate before the Oni of Ife and all that. Fine, that's his tradition, that's their culture. They do not, that's their culture. But that doesn't make their culture superior to the Igbo culture. In fact, the Igbo culture is the oldest civilization in Nigeria in terms of bronze artifact that has been excavated. A video you will watch at the end of this video will show you evidence that the Igbo civilization, despite being egalitarian, despite being that Igbo doesn't recognize strong chief, like strong kings, like in Yoruba, parts of Yoruba, not even all of Yoruba, parts of Yoruba and Hausa land. The Igbo civilization is the most authentic and oldest civilization in terms of science and technology. Okay? Because despite the respect that the leader, he said that the leaders of the North paid to their traditional rulers and that of the Southwest. Now these people, they have been dominating our rulership. How did that make them? Has that translated to Nigeria being run better? The Yorubas have produced more presidents than the Igbos. The Hausas have produced more presidents than the Igbos. Why is that their so-called civilization, which they inherited from their forebears, why has it failed to transform Nigeria? If it is that good, if this man really knows what he's talking about, this pastor. But I want to show also, as I told you, watch the end of the video, because at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a video that is going to also prove to you that the Igbo civilization is the oldest. How did I know that? Because the artifacts, bronze artifact that was excavated in Igbo land is the oldest, older than the Benin artifacts, older than the Ife artifacts. In fact, the Ife artifact is older than the Benin. Radiocarbon dating show that the Igbo civilization is the oldest civilization in Nigeria that can compete with the Egyptian civilization in terms of the quality of the artifacts that was exhumed from Igbo land. Okay, now before we go into that, before I will play that video for you, which will be at the end of this video, I want you to also to draw the attention of that pastor who is equating structures and patterns to having traditional ruler that people can bow down to. Is that what the Bible taught him? Is that what his own Bible, as Pastor Chris Okafor, is that what his Bible taught him? Even Jesus, who is his personal Lord and Savior, I'm sure he'll confess that Jesus Christ is his personal Lord and Savior. In Israel, when Jesus was walking on the streets of Jerusalem, do they have a king in Israel? Who was the king of Israel? If having a king is such a big deal, why didn't Israel of Jesus have a king? And we are made to understand that Israel, God is their king. God is the king of Israel. It was when Israelites began to behave like this Pastor Chris Okafor that God reluctantly gave them a king, and the king began to, their kings began to mess up, including the first one. So the Igbos have a king, but their king is the king that made heaven and earth. So therefore, the Igbos see themselves as equal. You can only be better by your personal achievement. He was talking about that they will ask, how much does he have? It is because Igbos measure achievements by your capacity to be able to achieve tangible things that could be seen, not by hereditary. The Onife inherited that seat. The Sultan inherited a seat. But in Igbo, I think that Pastor Chris should go and read Okonkwo. How Okonkwo, the son of an Efulefu, rose to become a kingmaker, become one of the top elders in Umuofia. That is how it is done. And that is the thing that Igbos have carried in their DNA to today, till date. He should go and read Okonkwo's Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart and study Okonkwo. And study Okonkwo's father. And he'll be able to understand. He should look at the remarkable difference between Okonkwo and his father. Okay? Now, before I digress, let me get into the biblical aspect of this story, because since this man is a man of Bible, being a pastor. You see, it was in 1 Samuel chapter 8, that was when the Israelites demanded for a king. 1 Samuel chapter 8 verse 4 to 5 said that, so all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, you are old and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have. Are you getting it? You can see that is similar to the kind of comparison this pastor, who is an Igbo, he is comparing. Other Yorubas have king, they respect. Hausa-Fulani have king, they respect. Why can't we have our own kings that we can respect? That's, as a Bible scholar, he ought to have known better. And chapter verse 19 to 20, the same 1 Samuel chapter 8 said that, but the people refused to listen to Samuel. No, they said, we want a king over us. Then we will be like all the other nations, with a king to lead us and to go out before us and fight our battles. And fight our battles. And this was where God now said, was telling Samuel, they have not rejected you, it is me that they have rejected. We're going to give them the king they want. Eventually they were given a king. Okay? But every society is different. That was the Jews. They wanted to be like their neighbors. They wanted to be like other nations. And when they got their king, they gave them the treatment that monarchs give. Okay? You know what kings, the Bible talk about, listen, no, this is what a king can do. This is what a king can do. This, they say, give us, we want to be like other nations. So, if this pastor, Chris, understand patterns and structures he was talking about, he would have known that the patterns and structures in Yoruba tradition, Hausa tradition, is different from the Igbo tradition. But whatever may be said about it, the Igbo tradition that had no king, has produced the most long-lasting civilization on record. Because the video you are going to watch, you are going to see the Igbo-Ukwu artifact, and you hear it being confessed that the Igbo-Ukwu artifact is older than the Benin artifact, is older than the Ile-Ife artifact. The Igbo-Ukwu artifact the Igbo-Ukwu artifact is dated 9th century CE. The one closest to Igbo-Ukwu in Nigeria, closest to Igbo-Ukwu, bronze artifact, closest to Igbo-Ukwu in Nigeria is Ile-Ife, 12th century. Look at the century gap, the gap that Igbo gave Ife. 3 centuries gap in terms of bronze, the technology. When you watch the video, you see, you hear those who are experts describe this, the technological sophistication that created the Igbo-Ukwu artifact. The closest to it is 12th century Ife, which is 3 centuries younger. Let that sink in. Then you have the Benin. Benin artifact you are seeing is 13th century to 19th century. So when you talk about civilization and sophistication, you have to give respect to the number one, the Igbo-Ukwu, and what pattern and structure produced the Igbo-Ukwu artifact. It is a society in which they do not have monarchies that break down their necks, but they have an egalitarian society. A society, the kind of society that produced democracy from the ancient Greek. The Igbos were already practicing democracy, even before democracy came to Yoruba land, before democracy came to the Hausa land. Now, what I will have to leave you now, and I have to leave you with the video that will confirm to you that the Igbo civilization is the oldest civilization in Nigeria, and that pastor don't know what he's talking about, because the Igbo structures and patterns that produce the oldest and most sophisticated civilization deserve more respect than that pastor is talking about. That's what you get when people are ignorant of their own history. Watch and have a nice day. Respect to you and your family. Watch.
These workers are scraping rust and patina of 1,000-year-old Igbo-Ukwu artifacts. It's part of restoration work on some of Nigeria's oldest but lesser-known collections. The Igbo-Ukwu artifacts were discovered in 1939 in southeastern Anambra State. The artifacts, including these human and ram heads and this ceremonial staff, are evidence of a highly sophisticated bronze and metal working culture dating to 900 AD, centuries before the more famous Benin bronzes. Some show evidence of a long-distance trading system extending as far as the Nile Valley and Egypt. And here at the National Museum in Lagos, the artifacts have been given a new lease of life.
The Igbo-Ukwu objects, they are alloy of copper, brass, and lead. And so they are very susceptible to corrosion. The main purpose for restoration work is to stabilize bronze objects against corrosion.
Some of the pieces at the museum include these intricately designed bowls, pots, vases, and shells. The restoration comes at a time when there is uncertainty about the return of thousands of Benin bronzes from museums abroad. But unlike the Benin bronzes, these Igbo-Ukwu treasures are not scattered across Western museums and private collections. 5 bronze artifacts from the original excavation in 1939 are in the British Museum's collection. Calls for the repatriation of these have been muted. The National Museum has a collection of 200 Igbo-Ukwu pieces, and more are housed in other local museums in the country. But conservation efforts come with challenges. A grant from the Bank of America is enabling the restoration work.
The works that Igbo-Ukwu produce, they actually a showcase and a showpieces, the masterpieces of creativity and craftsmanship, indigenous craftsmanship that is comparable to any craftsmanship, technological craftsmanship all over the place.
The hours are long and the work tedious, but the payoff is worth it. Neglected ancient treasures restored to their former glory. Rita Osakwe.